Hi beautiful people, welcome to Kate's Space. I'm Kate from Pixie Designs. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am doing my prompt for Junk Journal January with Meg Journals. All the details for Junk Journal January will be in the description box. I hope that you will get involved. There'll be lots of people making their journals and getting ready for the prompts and who will have started off with Meg yesterday. I am doing prompt number 2, which is quote, and I hope that although my layout is very simple, it will just give you maybe some ideas about what you can do using this prompt. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you all do that may be a little bit different that I can then be inspired by as well. So let's get started. So the prompt for the 2nd of January is quote, and that is my turn to do entry in my Junk Journal January for the challenge. Now, I was thinking about quotes because I do use them a lot. I like using them if I haven't got anything specific to write in my journal or I don't want to write in my journal. Sometimes just adding a quote, I don't know, just fills in some space and I really like using them. I had a little look at what a quote actually is because, you know, there's song lyrics and poetry and all these things. So a quote is really something that someone's written or said and you're repeating it verbatim. So I consider song lyrics to be song lyrics and poetry to be poetry. Whereas a quote is, to me, is more something someone said maybe in a speech or in a book, I guess. It's pretty blurry, but if you want a little bit more definition to what we're doing. So I thought about all the ways to use quotes, and I've brought out a couple of my journals. I have done Junk Journal January once and Junk Journal July 3 times. And I was looking through and I wanted to see where I have used quotes. So one thing I love to do is to type the quote out on some tea-dyed paper or any paper. And here you can see a quote that's just been typed out. Often my typing's not particularly good and I'll make a mistake and I don't worry. You can see I've done 2 I's here. But commonly what they say is if most of the letters are in there, even if they're not in the right order, people can read it. So that's a good thing. The other thing I love typing on is tracing paper or vellum, and then you can put something underneath it which will show through, but your writing is still over the top. So that's something I really like doing. The other thing is I've done here is use my letter stamps. They're just little click together letters and made up the words and done it that way. That's a really good way to do it as well. Another way is to, type it. So you can see here I've used my typewriter again, but instead of placing the whole paper, I've torn out the words. And you can do that in a book as well. Like you can go through maybe some book text and use the words to make up the quote. But here I've typed it. And I love how that works because you haven't got a whole piece of paper covering up your image, so you've just got the words still there, but you've got your image as your focal point, your collage, I guess. Again, here is some typing, but that's not a quote. Yeah, so those are some of the ways. Another way I've typed here on a digital print, so I have printed out the digital print and then done some typing on top of that. I love how that looks too. And again, here, this is some Tim Holtz wallpaper and I've typed onto that. Now I have got somewhere I've written. If you don't love your writing, that can be harder. This one here is obviously out of a magazine, I think, and I've cut all the words into strips and done that again so you can see what's underneath, but there's still the whole quote there. Here's another one which I've used the stamps and then I've cut them out into strips and then just done a drawn a line around each one, and I really like how that looks as well. some more on the tracing paper with the typewriter. I think I've got a handwritten one in here. I have it, yeah, I don't love my handwriting, and this one's hidden away because this is was quite a powerful quote for me. This is July this year, or last year now. But here I've written it by hand. I think it is good to write in your journal. I struggle with my handwriting. I would love to be able to do beautiful lettering, but I can't. It's not something I'm good at, but I would like to practice it more. I do have some calligraphy pens there that I've had a go with differing results. The other thing is I've got a Dymo labeler, and I quite like the effect that that has as well. And again, here's something cut out of a magazine here, and it's been tea stained. This one here is different again in that I've used the tracing paper, or this is possibly vellum, and then I've written the quote. Well, I've typed out the quote and changed the font on my computer, and then I've actually printed it onto the vellum. And again, I really like that because then you can use different fonts, and you can do, because I can't do this by hand like some people can, this is a good alternative for me, and I really like how that looks. And I think those are all the ways. I mean, no, they're not all the ways. They're the ways I've used. As you can see, I do use my typewriter a lot. I like how it looks. It's fun to do, and yeah, it's not my writing. Here I've used one of those fountain pens or calligraphy pens I was talking about, and just tried to zhuzh up my writing a little bit. It's not amazing, but I still quite like it. It turned out not too bad. So yeah, sometimes I just have to be a little bit braver and use my own hand to write things, because when you look back, it is nice to see your own writing. So those are some of the ways that you can use or put quotes into your journal. I mean, there's so many ways. Obviously, there's going to be much more that I haven't thought of. So I just need to decide how I'm going to do it this time and choose a quote. So I'll be right back. Right, I attempted to record this twice, and I, for some reason, in my head, cannot get myself to press record. I keep forgetting. Now, that's probably just an example that I've been on holiday. It's been, I've been 9 days away from home, and I'm really not in a creative space. I'm just getting into it. But what am I going to do? I've got a quote that I found on Instagram, and I save a lot of the quotes that come up on my Instagram feed, if I like them, into a little folder called Words. And I also have one on Pinterest, and I also keep quotes in a notes folder on my phone so that I can go back to them and have a look at them, and sometimes they're just what I need. Now, I knew I wanted to use some vellum, so I've cut a piece the same size as this tea dyed page. And I'm just deciding whether I want to put this fussy cut rose, which I cut out while I was chatting away to you and wasn't pressing record, whether I want to put that underneath and type on top, or I want to do something like that. And I could do my quote here. But I think I'll do my quote over on the vellum and put it over the top of my rose. This is really just an example of if you're short of time or short on inspiration, or you've lost your little mojo and it's the beginning of the year. Sometimes just a fussy cut and a quote can be really striking and work really well. And you can always add to it later if you find that, oh, that's a bit lacking, but it's at least it's a jumping off point. Right, so I'm going to go and type my quote on my typewriter, and then I'm going to come back. I've done the typing, and I really love this quote by Victoria Erickson. Life is passing rapidly. Fiercely commit to every moment you find beautiful and remember it. Record it. Fully, wholeheartedly inhabit it. Awareness is one of the greatest things you can possess in this life, as it is as important as the air we breathe and water we drink to stay alive. So yeah, that just really spoke to me. Just, I don't know, maybe spending time with family, seeing the grandchildren growing up and my children growing up and my mum getting older, and the time that we spent together was so incredibly special. And even though I found, for me, it was also quite, I was a little bit anxious because there were so many people in such a small space. I was also aware that it was a beautiful time, and one that may, you know, every time you spend time with family, you don't know how that family dynamic may change over time. So anyway, so I'm loving that, and I'm going to stitch along here. I'm going to stitch my vellum on, I think. But I'm going to glue this under here. I'm not going to add anything. I quite like the texture and pattern that's already on the tea stain paper, because I'm still trying to get myself in the groove, as I say. I'm not going to try and complicate this. I'm going to keep it super, super simple. I can't wait to see what you are all doing if you are doing this, and also the other people who are involved, the other artists who are part of the challenge, if they're doing the other prompts as well, and just see what other people have done for this prompt. So yeah, I'd love to see what you do. So use the hashtag, because I will be looking to see what everyone's done. So there's that beautiful rose. I'm a real fan of roses, and I've just planted my first rose bush in my little garden that's just outside my studio here. And it had a couple of roses on it when I planted it, and they sort of bloomed and fell off, which is fine. And then I've given it a lot of water and a lot of love, and then we went away, and my beautiful house sitter Hallie gave it a lot of water and a lot of love as well. Look, I'm ripping that. And I've come home and I can see it has buds on it, so I'm very, very excited about that. Oh, let's not put that upside down. Right, I'm going to get some thread and sew that. We have a case of be careful what you wish for here. After all our cold weather, it has suddenly become very hot, and the temperature is early 30s Fahrenheit, which for us is very hot, but it's also quite humid, which is unusual for Hawke's Bay. And actually it's trying to rain out there, even though it's 30 odd degrees. We have David's son and his partner staying with us for a few days. They were on our holiday with us at Christmas, and they've joined us on the way down to Wellington. They live in Wellington, so they've come here, and so they're spending New Year's with us, which is tonight. So I'm doing this in advance because the video has to be up and ready to go. So I'm just stitching along the top here. I'm happy. I don't mind if it's not perfect. I'm not measuring the stitches or worrying too much about how straight it is. I'd like it to be relatively straight, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So yes, I've got a glass of bubbles sitting beside me that my beautiful friend, my beautiful fiance David has brought down for me, and that was Mark and Anna. They brought that for us to share, and I put a pavlova in the oven, and that's just cooling off. But apart from that, we're having a very quiet New Year's, and just relaxing and enjoying some peace after such a busy Christmas. So we arrived home yesterday from our family holiday in the Coromandel. That's my phone. I have it on Do Not Disturb, so I'm not quite sure why that rang. Isn't it funny? I've been away not that long, and already just things are going so wrong. Oh well. You have to laugh, don't you? So yeah, we got home yesterday to 31 or 32 degrees, and so I went down to the beach. It's not a beautiful beach, but when the tide's out, there's not so many rocks, so the swimming's not so bad on your feet. Oops. So I got Jet, my dog, and we wandered down to the beach, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I can get in. And I thought, well, if I can't get in when it's 30 degrees, I'm never going to get in any other time. So I got in and had a swim. Jet barked on the shore. He always barks when I get in the water. He won't come in with me, but he loves chasing a stick. So once I got out, I just sat, and it's very windy. But that's okay. So yeah, I'm a bit hot and bothered down here because I haven't got a fan or anything or any air conditioning. So it starts off lovely and cool in the morning, but it does warm up quite considerably. And the fan's too loud, so here we are. Hot and bothered. But we want to get our video up. There we go. And I'm just going to tie this off. I don't know what I will be doing for the third prompt, but that's okay. It can have some pink stitching, or I can cover it up. So there we go. We have a beautiful quote. Now I've got the space down here, which I'm not overly thrilled about. I would have preferred if the quote had gone all the way down. So now I need to think about what I could put there. I have got some more sort of fussy cut flowers or stickers that I could use on top of here, just little ones. So I don't know if I want that. So the other option is to actually tear this off here so that it is, so I'm going to try that and see if I like that. There's nothing I can do about it if I don't. So let's hope that that looks all right. That's not too bad. I think what I'm going to do is just put a paper clip here, and I'm just going to tie a piece of ribbon to it, tie a piece of ribbon there. One of my upside down bows, or actually I think I will just actually tie it in a knot and just cut these bits off. So that just holds that down so it doesn't flap around when you open and close the page. And I think that I am actually going to leave it at that. It's super, super simple. And, you know, quote is a very simple prompt. It's self-explanatory. I didn't want to try and be super clever and think outside the box. I just wanted to use a quote that I loved, something that meant something to me. And when I look through this, it is a good reminder to just really be aware of those moments. And I love that it says record it. I almost want to sort of circle that, because that is something that I aspire to, is to be someone who does record moments and does journal, that not just make journals but also use journals. And so that has been a goal for me since I started the Junk Journal Julys and Junk Journal Januaries. And every year I seem to fall off the perch, as it were, as far as continuing with a regular journaling practice. But again, 2024, it's started, and I'm going to make an effort to make it a habit in my life and put things in place where I am recording things. And if it means cutting out a flower and writing something down, so be it. That for me is still better than wishing I'd done it, wishing I'd recorded a moment or recorded something. So I really hope that this has helped you a little bit. It's shown you that something doesn't have to be completely arty or complicated. I really love how this looks. I love that it's got a little bit of an interactive element, and you can see this beautiful picture, which to me doesn't need anything else but could have something else. And you know, as I flick through my journal as the month goes on, who knows, but I will, you know, may add to this, and I will probably add something here. I just don't know what yet. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you will get involved in Junk Journal January. It's such a great month, and there's so much inspiration and learning to be had throughout the month from all the artists who are taking part. Thank you, Meg. Thanks for including me. I really, really appreciate it. And I will be doing some more videos over the month, so I hope that you will join me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.